Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. Anthony Martin, one of our longtime viewers, one of my favorite people that writes with great feedback on the channel. I always love to hear. Anthony has great, well thought out feedback, and I think he has a lot of experience with a lot of different cameras. And he's commenting on my video on this Sony a6300 versus the Nikon D500. He's got some great points and some great commentary here. Anthony says the D500 has a 1.5 crop mode when doing 4K video. Also, I'm not sure why the D500 would have better high ISO performance than the a6300. What new tech is giving rise to 2 stops of improvement in ISO? Sony is making both sensors. Now, I'm going to stop right there and inject my own little possible answer to that is Nikon traditionally has always been able to squeeze better performance out of Sony's own sensors. And then not only that, I think Sony's rolling out, or Nikon has rolled out some real advancements in this sensor, and I think the sensor's being made to their specifications. So that might begin to possibly answer your question. Or your suggestion. I guess it's a question. Also, what is making the tracking that much better? What is so pioneering about the AF in the system in the D500? Well, I guess this remains to be seen in side-by-side shootouts, but certainly the new Nikon D500 slash D500 autofocus system is their flagship system, and it looks like it's the best system ever. It's definitely as good as the D4S, which I think is certainly better than the Sony a6300s. So, right there, I think there's some answer right there. What is the advantage of having AF points at the edge of the frame? Does that give additional advantages for composition? I don't think so, because no one wants an eye or a subject at the very edge of the frame. Several other cameras have AF points at or slightly beyond the rule of 4/3, so this is nothing new or even a big deal. The a6300 is doing AF on the sensor itself as in live view, so it has that advantage, and it still has way more AF points on the sensor than does the D500. So this wild fanboy gusting of praise on the D500 is just overboard. True, the larger battery is an advantage for the D500. The D500 has much better lenses for sports and wildlife, hence the decision is easy to make between these two. If you're a sports and wildlife person, get the D500. So Anthony's saying if you're sports and wildlife, get the D500, hands down. Anyone who wants a smaller camera, consider the a6300. It's the same decision with most other DSLRs except for the 4K, which frankly is crippled in both bodies. Heat in the a6300 versus 1.5 crop in the D500. By the way, while it sounds like I'm down on the D500, I'm not. I'd buy it in a minute if I didn't already own a bunch of Canon glass. The large buffer in the 4K video with the touchscreen, not fully touchscreen, and the auto AF tuning are killer combinations. I'm not 100% sure that Nikon has as much glass available for wildlife as Canon though, so I'd have to study that some more. My point here is that I'm a fan of the D500. I think the blind praise is going overboard though. People are tossing around stops of ISO performance as if it grows on trees or something. So Anthony's bringing me back down to earth a little bit, and maybe rightly so. I think I have high expectations for the D500, so I'm hoping I'm not going to be disappointed. I tend to still be a little bit excited about the D500. I think it is going to be very impressive when I get it in my hands, and we're going to see in real world terms of what its high ISO performance is. I think its AF performance is going to be pretty impressive too. I think it's going to beat the a6300 without issue. So I think those are areas where it is going to be better. But Anthony makes some really good points, some really logical, reasonable points, especially if you're somebody considering either of these cameras to purchase them. And I would certainly have a read through again on what Anthony has to say on this, or listen to this again when I'm reading through it, because it's good things to take into account to not get overexcited or hyped, and good points to consider for whether you need to spend the extra money or whether the D500 is for you or whether the a6300 is for you. What do you guys think? Do you think you agree with what Anthony's saying here? Are you more of a D500 kind of guy, or are you more of a a6300 kind of gal? Trying to include men and women here. And thanks very much, Anthony. Really appreciate the feedback. Well thought out as always, and trying to keep my feet on the ground. And thanks for tuning in, folks. Leave some comments below. Let's discuss it. And we'll be back soon here at artoftheimage.com. Thanks.